What's up YouTube, you're with Budgetmonk 119 and this is going to be an Austrian slash Holy Roman Empire let's play slash extensive playthrough. The goal of this series is going to be to sort of extensively play through Austria into the Empire and sort of demonstrate what I think is the best approach in regards to this run, and with the ultimate goal of world conquest in mind. So this is a kind of playthrough where I really want to go through the ropes and discuss things and take a closer look at certain things, and yeah, simply a let's play style to show you guys how I think things ought to be done. With that in mind, I am playing with the most recent DLC with the Cossacks, and I'm not 100% adjusted to that. So I wouldn't say I'm the most knowledgeable player in the world, but let's go ahead and get this started. One other thing is that I am going to call this series complete once I've actually passed the revoke the privilegia imperial reform, and therefore every nation within the empire becomes my own personal vassal. At that point I will consider the run complete, and my goal is actually in about a month from now, in February, I wish to actually live stream a continuation of this save file into a world conquest. So without further ado, let's get this started here. I'm going to rival Venice as well as Burgundy. I think those are the two obvious choices in regards to gaining power projection. And then thirdly, I'm going to go ahead and do Denmark, just because I know we will be dealing with Denmark at some point, and they will probably become invalid once Sweden and Norway break free, etc. And therefore we can change it up to somebody else. I'm going to go ahead and destroy this castle, which I don't really want to do, quite frankly, but as you can see here, we're barely making 3 ducats, and that's about how much it's going to cost to actually hire 3 advisors. And I think 3 advisors each of these advisors are going to be fairly important, let's put it that way. So I am going to take improve our prestige, as we only need 26 more, and that is certainly achievable. Issue some embargoes here, and let's get this game started. Naturally, we have a focus on admin right off the bat, which is ideal. That's exactly where we want our focus to be at the moment. In regards to diplomacy, I'm going to go ahead and ally Hungary, just because they typically are rivaling Venice, so that's going to help us here. But mainly they're just decently strong, they're fairly strong, might as well give them an alliance and fill a Diplo slot with them, because we are going to have that Diplo slot ultimately filled by them, most likely due to a personal union anyway. Now in regards to the electors, I'm going to use our 3 other Diplo slots on electors, and the electors of choice are actually each elector who is not eligible to actually become the emperor. And I do that intentionally because I feel like obtaining their vote consistently is much more achievable than trying to obtain votes from the other nations which are actually viable candidates to become the emperor, because you will find very often that they will sort of haphazardly decide that they want to become the emperor and vote for themselves. Okay, of course, the Kingdom of Italy and the Empire, this event is our absolute main focus here in the early stages of this game. This is going to be extremely important that we bring Italy under the influence of the empire. And so a quick rundown on that is these 3 provinces. as well as I think you need to bring Brescia, you know, not being occupied by someone outside of the empire, but I'm not 100% sure. Actually, I don't think you need to, but regardless, we need to take these 3 provinces from Venice and these 5 provinces from the Papal State sort of control. With that being said, I like to fabricate on the Papal State and actually begin with them. We want to get ourselves in war as fast as possible, really, so that we can sort of distribute the aggressive expansion well throughout time. The reason I'm going to start with the Papal State is because I think it will take 3 wars to actually take all of this land, so we'll probably find ourselves going into 1 war with the Pope, 1 with Venice, another with the Pope, another with Venice, and then a final war with the Pope. That is the most likely the series of events that we will actually take. Turns out Venice has extremely good diplomacy already, which is pretty upsetting, but the Pope doesn't have any diplomacy. And this is something that I have noticed. It's not uncommon that he doesn't gain any allies for a while, and that is going to be the other reason why we're going to focus on him immediately. Let's try to sort of weaken him and get this ball rolling whilst he doesn't have any allies, as we're simply dramatically more powerful than he is, and there should be very little he can do about us taking his land. I'm going to be satisfied with taking these 2 provinces here in this first war. I have dabbled in this before, and unless we do a lot of improving relations with Italians, northern Italians, we're going to find ourselves having a pretty significant coalition on us right off the bat if we actually take more land. I am playing on hard mode, and I do strictly play on hard mode, so just take that into consideration when I say things like that in regards to the amount of aggressive expansion. Nice. As I predicted, there is no allies here from the Papal State. So, because our numbers are so superior, we have over twice the forces. Hopefully this will be a nice pushover of a war, and we will just dominate them and gain some prestige. Let's take the time to talk about Hungary here for a second. Of course, many of you are probably aware of this sort of relationship that is rigged between Austria and Hungary. Very often you'll find Hungary in a personal union under Austria in one way or another. So the dream is that they automatically become under our personal union, obviously, but there are other alternative ways that this can actually play out, this scenario, and the worst way that it can play out for us is going to be having them lose our dynasty entirely. Although you gain a claim to actually fabricate or to actually enforce a personal union over them, that's not going to be really achievable in the early game in this run because of the amount of aggressive expansion that we would gain. So again, we're hoping that we automatically get a personal union over them. That would be the dream. In regards to unlawful territory here, if you actually demand a province, you will receive a -1 imperial authority if they actually decline. So don't hold me to this, but I think we're simply not going to demand territory at all whatsoever unless they will in fact concede that land and return it back to its rightful owner. Otherwise we're going to pretend like that is not really a mechanic within the game. You might have noticed that I'm not actually using a military leader, and that's simply because we're going to be doing a lot of fighting, a lot of warfare here as the Emperor, and we only have 1 in military. So I'm trying to be as much as a cheapskate as I possibly can on our military, and actually try to accumulate more to make sure we don't fall behind in technology. I'm going to go ahead and fabricate on Burgundy, because after we gain aggressive expansion here, that is probably the most productive war that we're going to be able to engage in without gaining aggressive expansion, is going to be to hopefully have the Burgundian succession happen, or simply cripple their prestige and have the king die, and at least that will freely free up these two personal unions that they have, and maybe as a victory condition we could release Luxembourg and Hainaut or something else of that nature. I'm still improving relations with Mainz. For some reason they do not start friendly, whereas the other electors do, or most of the other electors do, and they do not actually desire an alliance. But considering we are so powerful, I'm sure we will gain their alliance no problem. Okay, we might be able to peace out here without actually sieging the capital, and nice. I will do that in an effort to save time. We want to be as efficient as we can be in regards to time. And Mainz is not quite ready to ally us, they're just about there. Oops. So I'll get that alliance going just before we go to war, and I also might as well reduce our war exhaustion down to 0 before I begin coring up this land. Excellent. So Burgundy has also declared war on Provence, which of course he's much more powerful than Provence is. But that will make him that much easier to handle, as he'll be distracted fighting two wars. Oh, and we can see Florence is actually attacking the Papal State here after we weaken them, which is that's fine. That's absolutely fine, as we'll probably find ourselves taking land from Florence rather than the Papal State, which is fine. We can do it that way, as they will not have the truce, so that's no big deal. Come on, guy. Nice. So this guy will return Baden. We're going to do that just about every opportunity that we get to do it. Just like here. That's really important when it actually releases a independent nation. It's much more important in that circumstance than it is to just simply return a province to a nation that already exists, because this number, one of the things that influences this is how many individual members there are within the empire. Okay, I think it's about time to declare on Burgundy. I'm pretty positive that France will back us up. No, apparently they won't. Oh, they're fighting in another war, that's why, against England. So the English are already attacking Scotland. Scotland. Pretty bold of them. I'm trying to think whether we are strong enough to handle Burgundy ourselves, and I think it's a matter of how much we are willing to invest in terms of manpower, etc. I think we certainly are strong enough, but it's going to be very costly. I'm actually really torn if we just YOLO declare on Burgundy, if we wait for France to back us up. The sooner the better, really. The sooner the better. So I think we are going to sort of YOLO declare here. It is earlier. I really don't want to sort of retry this and record multiple sessions, but if that's what it takes, that is the sensible move. I think it is early enough in the game to where if it was to go horribly wrong, we could I could simply try again and record this again. I'm going to go ahead and offer military access to these electors, as that's an easy way to gain 10 relations with each of them. Okay, so he's allied to Brittany as well. Here we go. This is going to be pretty rough, I think, and I quite simply will have to hire a general. We only have 9 army tradition. Please be decent. He's terrible. He's terrible. That's not good. So according to this, we're quite outnumbered. But hopefully if we just play in a smart fashion, we're going to be okay. Take smart fights, I think. There's so many of them. The general is quite good. I have a morals of army advisor, but he's pretty darn expensive. +2 advisor. Wait, what? This is new, isn't it? Ah, there it is. Okay, that freaked me out a little bit there. So there it is. Nice. I didn't think it would be that easy. I have noticed... awesome. The dream. The dream, just like that. I have noticed lately that it seems to be pretty unlikely that this actually occurs in this fashion. Yeah, that's the dream. It seems to be less and less and less likely, but boom, there we go. I'm not going to complain. Awesome. I'm a little bit sort of disheveled because that was just simply so easy. We're gaining a little bit more imperial authority. Now, to be honest, this is not actually the dream. The dream is that the King of Burgundy dies and their prestige is low, releasing these personal unions that he has. That's actually the dream. Now it looks like France is going to break their alliance with us as soon as they are at peace. Let's see if we can prevent that from happening by increasing relations. Probably not, but it's worth a try. I'm going to go ahead and attack Provence. in an effort to bring these lands into the empire. That's another thing we can do which will not actually create aggressive expansion. I think for now I'll just turn our army maintenance down. Wow, I've played Austria many times before in the past on different patches, and I think I can say without a doubt that that was probably the easiest inheritance of Burgundy that I've ever had. So, the dream. And this is certainly not the dream here. 10 years of 5% cheaper tech, eh? Well, considering it's 10% difference with that increase, we'll take that. And the clergy does not appreciate that. Ugh. Okay, that was quite painful, but that's fine nonetheless. I'm a little bit thrown off by that, but I'm actually going to call this an episode, guys. I think that we couldn't have asked for much better than how this has gone down. We've successfully had our initial war here against the Papal State be successful, take some of their land, so we have that up and running and started bringing Italy into the empire. We're gaining imperial authority at a decent rate because we just eliminated a lot of the sort of transgressing land, and I'm hoping that what's province's diplomacy look like? Yeah, I'm hoping that bringing these two states into the empire should prove to be quite easy as well. Just waiting for our claims to finish. So things are looking pretty good at the moment. Our force limit is really high. Our naval force limit has increased a lot, and as this autonomy decreases, we're going to be in pretty good shape. We also have the option of switching things around over towards the English Channel. Interesting. Very interesting. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and make sure to tune in for the second episode if you want to see how this progresses. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time.